continue the rather expensive shuttle program and develop the new spacecrafting program at the same time. So that's why the shuttles have to retire. Unless any of you would like to make a donation to NASA. I know, me neither. They're going to retire. Our new spacecraft will be taking us to and from the station just like the shuttle can, as well as to the moon and Mars. And a lot of people think of that new spacecraft as being a shuttle replacement. But really, that's kind of like replacing an orange with a pork chop. It's just completely different. We went from the Apollo program to the shuttle program, something completely different. And now we're going to go from the shuttle program to a brand new program named the Constellation program. And it really is going to be a lot of fun to watch that program develop, that's for sure. Now, this next shuttle mission is the Shuttle Discovery, and it is scheduled to launch on October the 23rd, and it's going to take STS-120 crew up there to the station. They're going to be delivering Node 2. It's named Harmony, and they're going to reconfigure the station's electrical power system. Commanding Discovery is retired Air Force Colonel Pam Melroy. She's a test pilot with a master's degree in Earth and Planetary Sciences, and she's going to be the second woman to command a shuttle flight. Serving as pilot is U.S. Marine Corps Colonel George Zomka. He's a test pilot with a master's degree in Engineering Management, and he'll be working with Mission Robotics. This is his first shuttle flight. And Mission Specialist Scott Karazinski is an MD and a veteran spacewalker. He's going to conduct 3 spacewalks to install Harmony and relocate the P6 truss and arrays. This will be his 5th mission. Rookie Mission Specialist Doug Wheelock is a colonel in the U.S. Air Force. He has a master's degree in aerospace engineering, and he's going to join Scott for 2 of the 3 spacewalks. Mission Specialist Stephanie Wilson has a master's degree in aerospace engineering. Stephanie will operate both the shuttles and the station's robotic arms, the Canadarms, and this is going to be her 2nd space flight. Flying for the first time, Italian astronaut Paolo Nespoli. He has a master's degree in aeronautics and astronautics, and he's going to be coordinating the spacewalks that are scheduled during this mission. Expedition 16 flight engineer Dan Tanney has a master's degree in mechanical engineering. He's flying to the station with this crew. He's going to be staying on the station. He'll conduct 1 spacewalk. And Expedition 15 flight engineer Clay Anderson, who you've already met, is going to be returning back home after a 4-month stay on the station with this crew. And it's really been fun watching Clay work up there during this mission. You know, as always, our best wishes go out to the crew, and we wish for them a very safe and successful mission. And those of us that are here get to watch these crews train for these missions, and we feel like we know them, even though we don't know them personally. But a little bit of our hearts go up there with them on every mission. So we're very much looking forward to this flight coming up. We learned a lot after the Columbia disaster. We had a lot to learn. And the safety improvements stemming from the Columbia accident investigation are now standard on all shuttle flights. For example, minutes after launch, the external tank is thoroughly photographed to document foam loss. And then after launch and before landing, the shuttle's thermal protection system is surveyed for damage using the shuttle's Canadarm and a 50-foot boom extension that gets attached to it. Also, during rendezvous, the commanders fly a pitch maneuver so the station crew can scan the ship again with high-powered cameras. This crew is going to first install the Italian-built Harmony module in a temporary spot on Unity, and then it's going to be moved by the station crew to the front end of Destiny Lab, and that'll happen after the shuttle leaves the station. Harmony is a 23 by 14-foot passageway, and it's going to connect the U.S. segment of the station to the European and Japanese modules that are going to be added late this year and early next year. Also on this flight, the P6 truss and arrays are going to be moved from the Z1 truss on top of Unity to the port end of the main truss. The P6 arrays have been attached to the middle of the truss for the past 7 years. They've been acting as a temporary power system. And because of the tight clearances, our spacewalker is going to be out there to guide the arm operator and assist when the solar arrays are redeployed. They're also going to complete the electrical and mechanical attachments as well. And a grapple fixture for the station's Canadarm will also be installed on the Harmony module. And this mission marks the very first mission where we have had 2 female commanders on orbit at the same time. Pam Melroy on the shuttle and Peggy Whitson on the station. Great occurrence. And of course, landing will be at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, hopefully. After undocking from the station, they can stay in orbit some extra time if they need to, if the weather's too bad in Florida to come right home. Imagine that. And then if it looks like it's not going to clear up in Florida in time, we can always bring the craft and crew home to Edwards Air Force Base in California, like we did do with the mission before last, or to White Sands, New Mexico. But it is a whole lot faster and cheaper to bring them home to home base in Florida to start with. So that's what they always try really hard to do. We all benefit every day, whether you know it or not, from one or more things just from the shuttle program. If you want to see the whole list, go online and put in Space Shuttle Spinoff, and you will be amazed at all the things that we've come to take for granted that we use and benefit from every single day. They're developed just from the shuttle program. If you want to really get a shock, check out all the benefits we've gotten from the space program to see just how different our lives would be. That's a real eye-opener. NASA's got some other things going on as well. We've got another spacecraft headed to Mars. It's called the Phoenix. It's going to take it 10 months to get there. As you can see, it's going to land May 25th of next year. Hopefully it's going to land safe and sound on Mars. That's always a tricky thing to do. We're going to bring it down on the outskirts of the North Pole region where we know that there is ice. And we're going to drill down about 2 feet into the Martian soil and pull up a plug of soil and ice crystals. And on the back of this thing, there's 8 labs, and they're looking for a lot of different things, one of which, of course, is carbon. So stay tuned for a lot more interesting information from Phoenix, hopefully to come out next year. The 2 little rovers, Spirit and Opportunity, have now been on Mars for 3 years and 8 months. They were designed to last only 90 days, and they are both still going. Talk about a success story. I'm going to show you the latest picture from each of them. Of course, everybody always wants to know when we're going to send men and women to Mars, right? Have you wondered about that? Yeah, you should, because you know what? You can participate in this later on if you want to. That'll probably be about 20 to 25 years from now. So that means that everyone who is right now between the ages of 3 and 20, and that's give or take a few years, you are in the age group that NASA says will be the men and women who will actually travel to Mars. Ooh, that gives us all a lot to think about, doesn't it? Of course, we're going to send crews back to the moon first. Well, why are we doing that? We already went to the moon. Well, for one thing, the President charged NASA with returning humans to the moon by 2020 and then going on to Mars by 2030. But these lunar missions are going to be very different than the Apollo missions because we're going to be building a permanently manned outpost on the moon. We'll be utilizing the resources available to us on the moon as well as learning how to do this on some place as close as the moon before we have to do it on some place as far away as Mars. So the early crews to the moon should live up there for about a week at a time until the facility's ready for year-round habitation. And then after that, it should be manned very similarly to the way the station is manned now, with crews trading out about every 6 months. This should be an international project too. So of course, to get the crews and the equipment to the moon and to Mars, we have to have those new spacecraft. You're now looking at very early design concept drawings of the new spacecraft. The program is Constellation, and the rockets are named Ares. The big one is Ares 5. It's cargo only. It's a heavy lifter. This is Ares 1, and it will carry the crew, which very well could be some of you in this room right now. And you'll be in our new crew vehicle at the very top, and that has been named Orion. Well, that is just some of what's going on at NASA right now, and I want to thank you for joining me here at Blast Off. I have available for you up here at the front of the stage, which you are welcome to pick up as you exit to your right. There's 2 little piles, and that is just to make it easy for you. Both piles are exactly alike. It's a list of websites that you can go to and get the answers to any questions that you might have about the space program, and I will also be available by the door just in case you have any questions for me on your way out. Enjoy the rest of your stay at Space Center Houston, and thanks again for joining me.
Men and women who go into space work live to the operation of the largest orbiting science laboratory, the International Space Station.